Hello, welcome back to Sierra 2 Airsoft, your source on airsoft and milsim intel. Did I get that right?
Yeah, I think you did.
Okay, alright. Newsflash! I'm not drunk this week! No, seriously guys, I'm not drunk. I'm not. I am. Okay, just really drive that home this time. We has a new lineup of AEG that piques our interest. I guess they're being serious about this AEG endeavor. JK Army International is selling SAI Style slides with optics for the TM Style G18s. And I am redoing my entire loadout. And let's hear me not listen to Raider. Alright, let's get this going. Okay, I think we already got it out of the way that I am completely sober because I got so smashed this last week that we actually did 4 stories. We only posted 2 because in the second hour...
Yeah, you got screwed.
Anyways, you brought this up to me that we has this new line of AEGs, like MK series, like the whole SCAR lineup, basically.
Yeah, I mean they've even done the SSR, which before the only ones who did it was VFC.
Yes, I've seen those, and those I'm sure those are quality AEGs. It's just I fear the SCAR curse. I'm not a superstitious guy, I'll point that out, but the SCAR curse. I've seen a lot of scars go down. I've seen a couple guys, I've seen them on the field go down, and I'm like, maybe there's something to this scar curse. Or, I don't know. These were guys that were hard on their guns and took on the milsim ops, so yeah, that'll break any gun.
Being hard on your guns and taking them to milsim ops are 2 different things. I have owned a SCAR, and it worked. Believe it or not, it worked. And it worked very well.
You don't break AEGs.
No, I just don't break guns.
You don't...
I don't break them till I fuck with them.
He doesn't break guns. It's weird.
I just don't break them until I mess with them, and then when I mess with them, it's all over, man. Game over.
Yeah, that's
Game
most
over,
people.
Man. Game over.
I like my buddy Mac from was it Triple Tap Airsoft. He's like, fix it till it's broken or something like that. I can't remember his line. Or it's not broken, fix it till it's broken. Something like that. I fucked that up. Anyways, sorry.
See,
Mac.
it's something like
sorry,
that.
Mac.
Mac is good people.
Fix it till it's broken.
He knows who worked on my GMP M14, so.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's the guy us SEPA guys usually go to. Him and Trent Griffin. Griffin, yeah. Those are good guys. Griffin's got my M4 right now, so.
Yeah,
good guys. We gotta
toss him some business.
Oh yeah, we got like a lineup of guns to get up and running.
Yeah.
But this new lineup, what you were pointing something out to me. What about this that you're particularly intrigued about?
Well, WE did come out with a Katana series, for the AEG, and what that was from what I got was it was kind of a mix between an ICS and a PTW. Instead of the whole upper gearbox, you can just swap the cylinders and call it that. But it also works off of AEG mags, so yeah, it's kind of like a softcore PTW. That's
my thing about the PTW is I wouldn't mind getting the A&K one. We've had some people confirm to us that it is a decent setup. It is a PTW. You don't got the AEG shit to worry about, but it has its own mags. And I'm trying to step out of the AEG realm, and it keeps coming back to those mags, your buddy mags.
Yeah.
When you're running a milsim team, that's pretty important, and most of them run. I've yet to see a team in this area that runs all AKs, which would be cool, but you don't see it.
I've seen one team, but they were out of West Virginia.
Yeah.
The Omsk Cossacks. But those guys are pretty decent class guys, so if they're listening, they're listening.
Yeah. And AKs are fucking cool. I mean, I would get a real steel one, but us Americans get a little shafted in that realm. Yeah, that system you mentioned, that'd be cool. If this is so, imagine it's their own gearbox, it's its own thing. It's similar to a PTW.
Yeah,
am I correct?
Similar, but I think it actually uses AEG parts, which is why I call it kind of a mix between a PTW where you can just swap that upper cylinder, and then an AEG where it's got the whole AEG lower.
I'm just wondering, does it have that PTW reliability? That's kind of what I want.
I don't know. That would be an interesting concept.
Because I don't know. I mean,
you have had shitty luck with AEGs. I'll frickin' admit it. And some of it just may be, you know, the ones I've given you I've given you to use seem to do really well with.
Yeah, that's always a sign of something. The G36 is holding up externally. It's not holding up. It's a JG. It's that soft ABS body.
You need to get yourself into a brand new G&P, G&G, Classic Army, ICS, something like that. You get into that, and you don't fuck with it too much, you'll be fine.
I don't really want to fuck with this. I despise AEGs. I hate most airsoft guns in general. I've gone the gas blowback route as well, which was a fucking disaster.
Oh yeah, you got a King Arms.
Yeah. I mean, if you start putting WA parts in there, all of a sudden they're decent. I'm like, well, okay, why don't I just fucking start with the WA gun?
Because it's
ATF.
34A.
And ATF. ATF, they're difficult to get a hold of.
Yeah, the Bureau of Assholes, Tards, and Fucksticks.
What he said. Getting back to the Wii, it's an intriguing system. It's a question of whether or not I want to. What is the lower kind of like? Is it more like a V3 or a V2? Has it got the motor cage and all that shit?
That would be an interesting one. I haven't seen the lower. I haven't seen the lower half of it. It would be interesting to say.
Our whole original research concept is kind of getting thrown out the window here.
Yeah.
Customers. I forgot my stopwatch. Here's a stopwatch.
That would be an interesting concept if they can combine that scar body with a and you know, uber coolness with the katana system. That would be awesome. My
concern is externals do leave, at least aesthetically and feel wise, they do leave a good bit to be desired. I'm wondering if that's going to be the case with this series. It is something I'd like to see. Maybe not something to splurge money on. We don't know yet. Because I mean, as much as we like to review anything we can get our hands on, we do want to make reasonable investments. And believe me, something shit we're gonna tell you, but we're gonna try to avoid.
Yeah,
like, there's a lot of.
We're not doing JG.
It's an intriguing system. It's just the fact that it's a Wii. If you look at the externals on my guns, and you'll see that soft plastics, soft metals, can't do. And when you get into milsim stuff, it's gonna bang on something, and over time you will stress those parts, and they'll just wear. That's fine to an extent. This is airsoft, but. And
you don't need a full steel M14, but you also don't want something made out of zinc.
No, there's some zinc alloys that will outpower most aluminum out there. It's just the fact is airsoft companies don't identify that stuff. It might be a matter of the manufacturers doesn't even fucking know, or at least the guys, you know, the marketing guys don't know.
Yeah,
that's probably the biggest case. They could be using a variety of things because pot metal. It can be a hell of a lot. I got a full pot metal gas blowback handgun, and I fucking love it. And it's held up great.
Yeah.
But and the parts that failed with it were not the parts made out of zinc, which I find funny.
It was springs, if I recall.
Yeah, springs went. So
it'll be an interesting one.
Yeah, we're not going to know these little specifics, but it's a gun. It's a gun to keep your eye on because this might be the future of airsoft. It might be this. You know, one gun does it all. It does CQB, it does range, it does sniper shit, or marksman shit. The SCAR will be a marksman gun, am I correct? DMR, designated marksman rifle.
Yeah.
That I find really cool.
That way you don't need to be like me and have the whole freaking arsenal sitting around the house.
You enjoy that?
Yeah, I also enjoy that because it's stuff I could never own as a civilian. Full auto, short barrel.
Short barrel you can get. It's just, do you want to wait 6 months? Because my patience.
Yeah,
that's the only reason I don't know the suppressor.
If I want to go out and buy a Ruger M7 Model 77 GSR, I think rather than spending the $900 on a gun I'd only be able to shoot once or twice a year, I'll go out. You know, I'll wait until they make an airsoft replica.
Yeah.
Which with that one being a hot gun.
This
in
is like
real
this
skill world.
11 ounce.
I wondered how long it's going to be until one of the airsoft companies takes note and says, we should make this.
There's a lot of cool things, and I just wrote up an article, or I need to get the final draft done. I got the rough draft done of a SMG article on 5 SMGs we want to see, and it's really cool. Like, we really carefully picked these guns, and these are guns that were like basically the pre-soft body armor revelation guns, like those.
Yeah.
I don't want to name it. Yeah, I don't want to name any, but these are guns prominent like the James Bond games, like really good world famous SMGs that not everyone knows about anymore because, you know, with soft body armor in the 90s, all that shit went away.
Yeah.
So these are guns that if
These
you're
are
doing
not your run-of-the-mill MP5s.
yeah, this is shit that if you're like playing a Rebel or something out there, like you'd have one of these.
Oh yeah.
Or if you're playing like a 90s or 80s style op or something like Vietnam era or after that. Really cool article that Raider needs to help me proofread because second set of eyes catch a lot of errors. But I'll get that up. And this the system itself is in the way. I'm not intentionally staying on it. It's just a good point.
That cool.
It's a good internal setup.
It has a real potential. Let's see if WE fucks it up by the numbers.
Yeah, this big concern is externals, and that's something milsimmers need to be concerned about. Is just if you're making all these moving parts and parts that are going to take impacts out of soft plastics and metals, that's a legitimate concern. For the casual softer, it might work better for them. So even if that is the case, this is a weak gun.
Or if you're like me and don't break guns.
Yeah, or if you play like Raider. Although you did go down, I don't know how did that go for your gun?
The L86?
Yeah, when you went down.
It loosened a screw. That was it.
Yeah. Well, if that happens,
oh my god, that was a matter of a multi-tool in what 3 minutes at that.
Well, considering how often I hit the deck. So yeah, that's why you got to watch what when you're. We mentioned this before. When you're an aggressive player, guns and gear matters.
Oh yeah.
So that's why these guys these milsim guys that spend $400 or $500 on an AEG.
And then
it's not
because
because
at the end of the season.
it's not because you know they're just pure aesthetics. It's just they need a gun that's going to hold up.
Yeah.
That's going to at least last them through a season.
That's the other half of it is how are they looking at it? I know me. The reason I don't tend to break guns is because, well, I view my gun as my life. I'm going to shield it. It's that whole Marine rifleman's creed. My rifle is my best friend. It is my life. I will master it like I master my life.
I'm getting there. Last time I was at a battlefield, I was much more. I was playing like I was going to be playing for 8 hours straight, and I didn't really overdo it because I'm getting into more of that milsim mentality where you need to fucking pace yourself, not that paint salt and shit. That.
Or everybody charges forward and like 75% of them are dead within 2 minutes.
Yeah. Rum. Fucking rum. Rum. If anyone wants to know my weakness, it's rum. Tastes so good, but it hurts so bad.
But, let's think.
Should we move on to the feature story?
Let's move on to the next story. JK Army is selling the SAI Style sleds with optics. These are being made for the TM G18, but I didn't see a selector on it anywhere. So, what are you doing? You're taking a G18 and turning it into a match style G17?
Are they putting frame-mounted fire selectors on them or something these days?
I don't know. I don't pay attention to Gaston Block and his
brick. His brick with a barrel.
His brick of feces.
I like Glocks. As I was looking at a 22 and a used gun rack. When I say 22, I mean G22, Glock 22, Model 22.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is a good gun. I was even thinking of a Glock 35 because I'm used to big guns and I want a big front heavy auto because I'm used to a big front heavy revolver. Or you can just put like a tungsten recoil rod or whatever. But anyways, I'm looking. I picked it up and I'm like, there's very little of my finger on that trigger. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you can wrap your hand around and get more. When you're shooting a 40 cal or a 357 SIG, and the bone of your thumb is on there,
yeah,
I've left the range bleeding.
That's a definite case of when people ask, well, what kind of pistol should I get? Try them, see which one you like. Especially when they're talking about pistols from Milsa. I prefer my slab side 1911 or the SIG. Those are the two I've discovered I work well with. I have owned in the past. I still have a Tanaka Pegasus style revolver.
Nice.
It was a Colt Police Positive. I still have it.
I've seen that.
Dan Wesson CO2, Desert Eagle, Detonics. That's a really nice one if you can find them. The one I have is Army Armament. I need to get a new mag for it. I think the mag seal went bye-bye.
The Desert Eagles aren't as big as people make them out because they are single action, so you can get finger on the trigger. I almost entered a raffle for a real gun. They're like $1 for a ticket, and I'm like, why the fuck didn't I get it? The place was an hour and a half away, but I'm like, fuck it, if I won, that's a fucking Desert Eagle. So that gets something nice.
Or hold on to it for shits and giggles.
Yeah.
What was it, a 357 or 44?
I don't know. If it was a 44 mag, I definitely would have held on to it because I love the 44 mag. That was a great round. Out in the woods or something, great gun to have.
As we were talking about pistol fit, I just tend to find that the two that fit me the best that you can readily get a hold of are the 1911 and the SIG P226. I also have owned M9s, and I've owned a old KSC KWA Glock 34 and G34, and the 34 just didn't do it for me.
It's a completely different platform as well. I just don't run 1911s well because the way the controls are set, the way I run guns doesn't work well. And I know they do make elongated slide releases that I can reach on a real 1911. You don't see that shit for airsoft.
Yeah,
airsoft is just like adjust your grip.
Yeah,
I train myself for high stress scenarios, so the way I function is just it needs to be here so I can reach it.
Oh yeah, I mean. It all depends on the individual. Also, I tend to have longer fingers than you.
Yeah.
The M9 does not fit me under any way, shape, or form. And sure enough, after I leave the Corps, what do they go back to issuing? The M45 close quarters battle pistol. I am kicking myself in the head.
Yeah. Well, I do want a 93. Bad. We mentioned this before. Oh, getting back to when we were talking about the Caleb loadout. I saw the King Arms Thompson they released. It's all plastic body, man. It's like $150. The price tag alone lets you know.
King Arms, with that one, you could fuck up a wet dream by the numbers.
Hell yeah.
I'm looking at a phrase from my old crusty chief warrant officer, retired godfather.
I'm gonna focus on at some point getting the full metal 93R. Full metal. I'm like, fuck yeah. Got a frame-mounted fire selector and safety, and you got a single-action trigger. How do you not reach any of those controls?
Yeah, well, it was my biggest problem with the M9 is because when I'd go like this, I'd have to move my hand up like this.
You're offhand to disengage.
So I'd have to literally go like this, and then go back to the ready, and okay, you can fire. Okay, fire the course.
Yeah, I don't like operating any controls offhand unless it's left. The SIG, the single action P226 X5, that was fine until I started doing left hand shit. And when I would do the way I shoot airsoft pistols is the same as real steel. I anticipate recoil, so I have a death grip on there. My like the first knuckle would release the mag, even though it's recessed. I guess the way I was gripping it would release it, and I'm like, I'm trying to adjust. I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't have the gun on hand to figure out what was going on, but. The real steel. I'm sober, so I can grab this. Yeah, my real steel. I do death grip.
Yeah.
I guess it would be like somewhere around.
Yeah, because it's high up. It's not.
Yeah, you see where I'm. Well, I know whoever's listening. This is can't even really see this on camera. Yeah, the way I'm used to gripping on my current automatic pistol is a Glock style. Excuse me. Glock style mag release, so it's out of the way.
Yeah. And
I had a hard when I was handling the 22 in store. I had a hard ass time operating that mag release. That's a big gun.
I showed it off to a friend of mine. My much storied P226 PTP. And, I mean, it's like I said.
I cannot reach the trigger on.
Drop the slide, I'd pop a BB in, drop the slide release, pop the mag in, decock it, put it in, put it in the holster, and I was good.
Anyways, getting back to this G18. The optics cool as shit.
Oh, yeah.
And not only that, you can use if something happens, you get shot out, iron sights are right there.
Yeah, co-witness through irons, that's always a great one. So, I mean...
I wouldn't co-witness, I would make sure that red dot is way above that iron sights, but that's just me.
Well, maybe just on the tip of the top of the iron sight.
Well, actually, to sight it in, I actually probably...
It would be, for example,
I would do point of aim.
There.
Well, what range are you doing, 15 yards?
That's what I'd be figuring. 15.
Yeah,
At
15,
most.
I would do above the dot. Between inside 10 yards, I would do point of aim.
Above the blade.
But at airsoft, yeah, you probably should calibrate. If you're out running pistol optics, calibrate them out to like 20, 25 yards if you can, because that's more legit combat range. And if your primary goes down, you want all the help you can get out of that pistol. And something like a red dot sight, oh yeah, that's gonna help. And something that's low. What I like about it is it's low pro. I put the match style Weaver rail system on my SIG. It's up really, really high. I could not train myself to use it. It is up so high. It's like worthless.
Yeah, I guess you gotta be a match shooter in order to get used to it. But
yeah, and match shooters, their training is completely different from self-defense training. Like, when they practice draws, they pull the trigger, which is like, that's a no-no. If you're practicing self-defense, you will train yourself to fucking murder somebody. Or in the case of airsoft, you might have to like draw and then take somebody at gunpoint. You might safety kill somebody. You're that close. Draw your pistol and then someone's right there.
I have never heard anybody complain about getting shot at close range with a normal gas blowback pistol.
Probably not CO2. Mine's got some velocity.
I put green gas in my revolver at one point and nailed somebody with it, and he had like a third nipple, like right here. Now, the guy also had owned a Class 3 gun shop at one point in his lifetime. And he's like, damn, for you to be able to turn and nail me that quickly, that's some talent.
You can transfer a lot of your real steel skills to airsoft.
He's like, yeah, I can see, I can see your marineness, because he's talking about, I got like a little bleeding welt like right here in the middle of my chest. I'd have been dead. I'd have been a dead man.
If I were to ever go Glock, I'm like, that's a pretty cool slide. Now the problem is, with the price tag on it that I'm seeing on the KJ International or KJ Army International, I could buy a fucking gun with that. A decent gun,
or at least
too.
Put a chunk toward something really nice.
Yeah. I mean, you don't need to spend a ton of money.
XDM 5.25, modified by cylinder and slide.
Yeah. Let's...
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking happy thoughts of XDs, but... Yeah,
I got you stuck on the XD.
It's a fugly-ass gun, but you know what? It works.
Its own way.
It works.
It's like a Kalashnikov. It's beautiful because it frickin' works.
Yeah, it has a phenomenal track record. It's got a fully supported chamber. I'm not a fanboy of the 40. It's just that
it works well for you.
I got small hands, and that's
me.
I'm used to running it too.
Me, if I want to carry a man stopper, I carry a man stopper.
Don't let me get into the ballistics between the 40 and the 45. You'll not like what you see. But I would love an XDM 45 to run with a suppressor. Yeah, I would love one. I would probably buy one. I got nothing against the 45.
I've seen some guys shoot the 40. I've also seen some guys shoot the 45. What does it for me is it seems like the recoil impulse on a 40 tends to be more of a straight punch rather than a push.
It snappy.
Seems to be snappy, and
Here's
I really
the thing,
don't
though.
like the snappy.
Here's the thing, though. That little 17-ounce 40 I got over in that corner has less if you're used to it, has less muzzle flip than a service pistol chambered in 38. And I'm talking like a 6.86 flips a lot less. But you know why?
You're talking about like a full underlug 6.86.
No, yeah. Well, no, I'm talking about my tapered one. It has less flip. I've shot both on the same day. I'm like, that has less flip. It's really low profile barrel. That's why.
And that's another one to look at is bore axis. Because I tended to discover that the M9.
Hi.
When I'd shoot the M9, both the real steel and the airsoft, because I had a good M9. I had a KWA M9 PTP. The pre-railed ones. So it was actually like the service pistol. It fit in a couple of the service holsters I had.
Nice.
I tended to discover, even with the gas blowback, just because of ergonomics, it flipped a lot in my hands.
That's funny.
The M9, as a rule of thumb, I find if you're going to shoot, airsoft or real steel, ergonomics matter.
Absolutely, and
the M9 is meant for a large hand. The 226 could kind of go either way. Yeah, especially if you're like me and have long fingers.
When I see these 15-year-old kids saying like, "Oh, the M9 fits my hand perfectly," and I'm like, okay, when you come out of the holster, do you need to adjust your hand before you can pull the trigger? Think about that for a second. That's where it matters. I'm like, okay, yeah, you're not going to break your thumb from the recoil, but when you come out of the holster in an oh shit situation, oh, my gun went down and someone's still attacking me, that matters.
Yeah. And are you carrying the weapon off safe?
Oh, yeah. Or using the offhand to manipulate the safety, which you might not have time to do. I mean, airsoft has... If you play airsoft enough, you will find a lot of oh shit situations.
That's why I like my SIG. Just pop and lock, put it in the decocker and then toss it in the Serpa, and I'm on my way.
SIG's a good gun. I used to have a P226 KGW. It's just it's too big for me. The trigger reach is not very great.
Well, especially in the double action mode.
Yeah. That's why I got the single action one, but the magazine release placement is terrible.
I need to find a gas blowback pistol for a friend of mine because she just bought a P99.
Get her the
40.
Get her G18 with this SAI Style slide.
Nah.
It's a cool gun. I would love to be able to run Glocks because there's so many accessories and shit. There's so much cool shit you can do with them.
They also, in some of these companies that are making these overseas, they need to start making some of the shave style lowers.
The Robar conversion?
Yeah, like the Robar
I almost bought a G22 so I could send it out the Robar, but here's the thing. We're talking like a couple $100 to do that.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh wow, it's only 85. It's only $85 for just the front strap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a little dramatic about that. Yeah, if you want to shave the front and back strap, which I hate finger grooves. All of a sudden, you're like $400. The Glock you got for like $430 out the door after taxes and everything used. All of a sudden, turns into a $600 Glock after you do all this cool shit to it. And you know what? I used to think it had a great trigger. It's not, the XDM's not that far off. The problem with the XDM is there's not much you can do to it.
Yeah.
You need to find a gunsmith that will actually work on the XDM, and most of them are still stuck on the XDs because the XDM is a whole new system.
Oh yeah.
And
I have one of the original XDs. I love it.
It's a good gun. I'm not gonna argue with
that. I'd be curious whenever you get the XDM to see how it works.
Which reminds me, I will be picking up the WeTech replica, so we can skills transfer. Although this is actually going to be interesting because what's interesting is I've got some bad habits. I've gotten rid of I think pretty much all of them at this point, but I had some bad habits with AEG rifles. They did not transfer to the I had a recent oh shit scenario where I had a rifle, and I'm happy to say my bad airsoft habits didn't transfer. Although I did leave the safety on, which was kind of fucking retarded because I knew when you jump me, I'm not going to remember to take that off. So that was kind of dumb, but you do dumb shit when you're scared. And but I noticed with pistol, I use them exactly like the way my hands tense up and everything. I'm expecting the thing to fire, like not do the little pop. Like I'm expecting the thing to go off.
Boom.
Like boom.
Yeah.
Not that intense. Like not the guys that flinch before they fire. I mean like. It's a gun. You're firing a gun.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of happy about that. So running an identical gun to your real steel in airsoft is actually a phenomenal idea.
Yeah.
Because you can practice maneuvering with it. As long as you shoot the real thing to get used to the recoil.
I just have to get used to 7/10 of an inch less barrel.
Oh yeah.
Because mine's a subcut. Mine's the 3/8 barrel.
Oh, you think about getting the Wii XDM?
Possibly, I don't know. I'm kind of stuck on my Yankee. I'm kind of stuck on my Yankee fist. But
well, check out mine, and you'll see what you think. $25 a mag is nice though.
Yeah,
if they hold up.
A KWA where you're talking about $35-40 a mag.
You know what I always joke about? I was joking about like, these are more than my Metgar mags. They're cheaper than Metgar mags this time. Finally.
Yeah.
Cheaper than high-end Italian mags. I got a Metgar mag right. Excuse me. Right here, Metgar mag. This one's new. Nice. Yeah, Metgar. There's the logo right there. Keltec actually, I mean, as much as people like to bash them, they don't fuck around with their mags.
Oh yeah.
They sent out Metgar. Although the design was kind of flawed on that one, but that's the version 2, which was fixed. So they fixed it.
Yeah.
And they did not fix the gun itself. They dropped it after a couple years.
So let's see. Let's run down the list. G Series and Berettas and Desert Eagles are great for big hands. SIGs, 1911s, a little more smoking friendly. I'd
without gloves.
yet to see the XDM or try and find a P99 replica. Like I'm trying to find.
I got small hands. I'll tell you, the XDM fits phenomenally with even with the medium grip insert because that doesn't affect trigger reach.
Okay.
And it has a grip safety, and part of the reason I got that over the M&P was I like the grip safety.
Yeah.
Then if you know me, I carried
yeah, the XD is for fundamentally ergonomics wise, it's the love child of a Glock and a 1911. This is a 1911 grip angle.
Think about who imports it.
Yeah, Springfield.
Springfield.
And
Who's big on the 1911s.
I've seen some very nice Springfields. I had a buddy of mine that had one for a pin gun.
Nice.
And had a nice light. He even went through and put a Series 70 trigger in it.
Is that the one the drop safety?
That's the one without the drop safety.
Oh, without the drop safety.
The Series 80 is the one with the drop safety.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Series 80 was...
Yeah, most guns have a Series 80. I know the Ruger SR 1911, which is very well wanted, has the Series 70 trigger in it. But if you go on Brownells and you know a gunsmith or can actually follow a frickin' shop manual and have the right tools, you can put a Series 70 trigger in it, no problem.
For a defense gun, I wouldn't mind the Series 80 because what if you got a good grip on it and you just go down?
Most of the people who prefer Series 70 are either old or are either very old school,
ignorant,
or are match shooters.
Or match shooters, or ignorant.
Because Series 80, a lot of people say it got draggier, and when you're talking about match shooters, they want everything perfect.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. When you were mentioning, see what the gun store guys are using, there's a couple guys in there that got 3.5 pound disconnectors on their carry Glocks. And I'm like, are you fucking serious?
3.5 pound disconnectors? Well,
no. I don't know.
These are guys that shoot every day, probably.
Well, here's the thing, and this is why I don't bitch about the triggers on striker fired guns. I avoided an AD because the trigger was pulled halfway back. I'm like, let me check this chamber one more time. Oh, there's a live round in there.
Yeah.
I would have shot my pool, so no one would have been hurt. If you ever see what happens when you shoot water at an angle, the bullet just blows apart and nothing really happens.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's like this one documentary
I want a long trigger pull
where they were talking about surviving D-Day, and they
41 minutes.
They took an MG42 and fired one round into a water tank, and it stopped within 3 feet.
Oh yeah.
Meaning, if you were 4 feet away when that bullet hit the water, you wouldn't have even known. You might have felt the bullet hit your leg as you were walking forward, but that was about it.
A 50 cal won't get much further past that.
Buddy of mine, he was in Bosnia.
Fire straight down.
And he was walking to the mess tent, and he felt something like a baseball bat hit him in the leg. He looks down, there's an AK bullet by his boot. I think he still has it, too. I'm not sure.
Nice. That'd be cool.
The bullet that didn't get me because the person was too fucking far away.
Gotta love it, man.
Yeah.
The little things that save you gotta appreciate. You hate it when you have to deal with it when you're pulling the trigger, but when it's the other guy, you fucking love it.
Well, there was a grunt I knew who had reclassed over to
it's the same with airsoft,
Pensacola. Too. And he had an AK round hit him right. You know how the helmets have that little brim thing right there? The issued helmets. It hit him right in the brim and went up.
Nice.
He kept the helmet.
Oh, I would fucking keep that. Look what happened to me.
They're like, yeah, you can.
Oh, you're having a shitty day? Whip that out.
There is actually a meme about that. The bullet punched through and just embedded just under the skin. They pulled it out with pliers, bandaged him up. Kept him for reserving for a TBI.
This is how hard it is for us to talk about Glocks. I don't know why I put that story in. I apologize because it's a Glock.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good platform if you can get your fucking hands around them. It's a good platform, but I can't.
Yeah, I just don't see the point.
Plus, they got finger grooves on top of it. I hate finger grooves.
No.
Even at the store, I'm holding it. My fingers are riding up on the ridges because they're so damn small. And I'm like, no, I can't do this. So I really wanted it. I want a Glock, but I can't do it. Ergonomics are important, even in airsoft. My buddy, who's got hands similar to mine, they're just a little meatier, and he went from an airsoft 1911 to a Glock because it holds more round, and he went the WeTech one, and I'm like, I should go with like the XDM or they got the M&P. They got the Bulldog, the PX4. They got a PX4 clone. That has for a double action handgun. That is phenomenal. Trigger reach. I can get just about almost to the pad with double action mode. Then single action, it's all creased. It's a fucking awesome gun. Oh, great gun. But I'm like, yeah, going to a Glock. But let's get to our main thing here.
Let's get to the next one.
Yeah,
this one's gonna lead into some stuff.
Yeah, this is interesting. Okay, I think we don't bring up our backgrounds often enough. You want to bring yours is more. I'll do mine first because yours is more interesting. I wanted to get into the police academy a couple years ago. I wanted to get into the police academy, and I'm looking at airsoft. I'm like, this might be a good simulation for gun battles since we got the same manual of arms, weight and everything, same equipment. That's pretty cool because I want to get into law enforcement and might wind up in a gun battle. You might as well have some idea of it. I didn't realize how different it was actually going to be from an actual gun battle. But that was before. I didn't think it was going to be that close to paintball. It's quite different from paintball, but it was more like paintball than I thought it was going to be, especially when you get to places like Battlefield. But anyways, I read tons of books on like defensive handgunnery, law enforcement, handgunnery, rifles. I've had a couple of guys now train me in like CQB and stuff like that, and I'm looking to get basic safety NRA safety course because you kind of have to take that, even though I'm kind of known as a gun safety nut. So why the fuck would I have to take this? And I fired instructors because they were type A's. I was asking the guy, "Can you train me how to use a revolver?" I'm like, "Sure, I'll teach you how to shoot guns with my Glock 19." I'm like, "All right, well, I'm gonna cancel this appointment." So anyway, that's my background. I'm a self-defense shooter and kind of, I don't want to say LEO wannabe, but I appreciate what those, the good guys, I appreciate what they do. I appreciate the training they bring to the civilian world.
Ones can eat a dick.
And we live in proximity to Philly, so we know all about that. But actually, in Chester County, my run-ins with police has been phenomenal. Even the guys that ended up writing me tickets and shit, they were real good guys because they could have done much, much worse for me. And I appreciate the guy that didn't shoot the airsofter, that state trooper, didn't shoot one of the guys on my team. I really appreciate that, and I also appreciate you guys letting us off without even trespassing. That was awesome. Anyways, that's my background. Defensive shooter. I'm a defensive shooter. That's why I tend to have somewhat of a lone wolf mentality. It's not that I'm a dumbass ignorant player. It's just I'm thinking of I'm all alone. I have a handgun or a shotgun, and that's it. I'm all alone, and I have to protect myself. And I had any downtime must be minimized. Like my tack reloads, my retention techniques, all around defensive. So, anyways, your background is much cooler. So,
yeah, I've been shooting firearms since I was about 8 years old, and my granddad took me out shooting. I got into it more when I was a teenager. Around that time, I also discovered paintball, and after pissing off the speedballerazzi that was prevalent, I got in it. Somebody pointed me toward airsoft, and I'm like, okay, I kind of like this. So I kept up with it. Got through school, started working a bit, then. Yeah, I decided to enlist as a Marine. Got through that in 2005. Went over to Iraq. During the period between deployment and graduation from Paris Island, I also managed to pick up the rifle and pistol marksmanship coaches course. It is a very intriguing course. So I tend to approach it more as a reenactment or a simulation of actual combat. So I tend to have a lot more of the mentalities that your average Marine or serviceman would have. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, I noticed that. You can be a little bit of a type A sometimes. But I know what you mean. I'm looking at all the new shit when we're getting back to...
Yeah.
Basically, I'm looking to redo my loadout. And I'm looking at new shit or shit that's newer than shit that's old. Like, some of the shit I'm looking at has been around for years. Like, a long-ass time.
Yeah.
And it's just that you don't see it as much because it's, like... a lot of it's expensive. I'm looking at basically what I'm doing. My loadout is not being built with airsoft in mind. It's being built around
your self-defense mentality.
Defense, and like a shit hits the fan loadout. I don't want to call myself a prepper, but I'm kind of getting into it. It seems like a good idea, but yeah, and I call myself the libertarian socialist, and I'm doing prepping. But get yourself one of these. Doesn't got that American AK parts on them.
No, your SKS, huh?
It's all original, baby.
Clear.
Yeah, I stuck my finger in there too.
Yeah, I saw you do that.
But you should clear it. Yeah, here's a gun safety clip. When you watch someone clear a gun and then they hand it to you, clear it yourself. Visual and tactile.
I always did that, but I also got used to the inspection arms where you're looking into the chamber. But this is an SKS and does not have the same manual of arms as an M16.
Get used to it.
Yeah, you will get used to it over time.
It's good, extremely reliable gun. Because the consistency.
Between airsoft and real steel, I fired just about everything. I mean, the SKS and the Lee Enfield he's got are probably about the two I haven't.
I thought sorry, voice went a little crazy there. my throat is a little fucked up today. But I thought about building up an SKS rig, but I'm like, it takes clips. I'm like, just fuck that.
Like I said, sometimes some of these guys who are like, no, I need it's a magazine, not a clip. I'm thinking about just start showing up with an M1, one of the ICS or G&G M1 Garands, just to piss them off.
No, dude,
it's a clip. It's a clip.
N block clip, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Well, okay, and
or a Mauser M712. That's
here's another gun safety clip. If you have a clip-fed gun like an M1 Garand, do not fucking shoot it without the clip. Do not load the mag without the clip. You will fucking slam fire that whole magazine. You ever see that? It's terrifying because you're talking 30-06 full auto. You ever hear about that?
I've never heard of it being done with an M1.
Yeah, if it's a clip-fed gun, you need the clip. But in general, with most guns, clip feeds magazine, magazine feeds gun. And as far as a slang, clip referring to a magazine, mag is a slang.
But yeah, we got into that last week. You may not remember.
No, actually,
yes,
yeah, I don't remember the conversation.
But what are you looking at as far as your primary load carrying implement?
Not low vis, but low profile plate carrier because I plan on putting a lot of shit on the belt. And this goes back to a vehicle injury I had. This is what kept me out of law enforcement was a motor vehicle accident, and that fucking sucked because it fucked up my upper back. And one of the reasons why my neck actually beefed up and I went up in shirt size, which is actually kind of annoying because I had to return a bunch of nice clothes recently. But anyways, yeah, I do a lot of upper back strengthening because my upper back if I sit too long or if I stand too long in place, it will hurt really bad. And I'm really nervous about putting too much load bearing gear on my back. And now I'm talking this loadout's going to be built around real steel. There's going to be actual plates in there. Not AR500. I'm not that crazy. They weigh as much as the level 4 plates you ran. Exact same weight, 7.5 pound plates. And I'm like, it's level 3.
Well,
like fuck that.
And there's something to be said about that. I know some people do that. Me, I wore plates for years, and it just after a while it just became ridiculous because there is a book and is on what we call the Commandant's reading list, and it should be read by every airsofter as well. It's by a guy named S.L.A. Marshall, and it's called A Soldier's Load and the Mobility of a Nation. And in it, he says that your average soldier, somebody who is physically fit, trained, and receives sustainment training, should carry as a fighting load, meaning everything he carries onto that field should weigh no more than 50 pounds. Now, you're dealing with a lot of guys who are physically training themselves. You're also dealing with a lot of guys who aren't. Those guys who aren't, they should be looking to limit their load.
Probably like 30 pounds.
Yeah, well... let's see, when I was weighing about 125 to 130.
Jeez.
I was a little light guy.
Yeah.
even some sergeant major said you should be carrying a load that's no more than 30.
Yeah,
They should be viewing you more as Speedy Gonzalez.
Yeah, if you're still my age, I would have a good bit of weight on you. I'm like 140 right now. Jeez.
But it's like I said, the Marine Corps does not train you for strength and mass. They train you for strength and endurance.
Yeah, I put on
endurance primarily, but you do need a bit of strength there too.
Yeah.
Our PFT is a pull-ups, sit-ups, 3 mile run.
I like 3 mile runs, but I don't have gear on.
No, we didn't
much clothing.
When we did PFT, we started doing the CFT when I was on my way out the door. So.
So yeah.
And that was flak jacket and Kevlar and everything else.
54.
But, yeah, there is something to be said.
Here's the thing. I'm not, like I said, I'm trying to avoid 16 pounds of armor or 15 pounds, whatever. I'm trying to look into like some 3 to 5 pound plates, but I'm gonna be coughing up some dough because I want the new polymer diamine shit. But I'm doing a hell of a lot of research, and you need to contact armor companies directly because they don't do a lot of direct sales, and a lot of guys are like, fuck you, we're not selling to civilians. So those cunts I'm not selling. I'm not buying. I'm not giving them money. But that's
I know where my money didn't go.
But the reason I'm doing that is because shit hits the fan scenario. I'm already running shit I'm used to wearing. The difference between the reason it won't get crazy with airsoft is you're not dealing with loaded magazines.
Yeah.
That's if you're carrying 10 mags, that's suddenly like, if you're running power mags, that's 8 pounds you don't have.
This would be an interesting subject to actually run a video on. I know where a lot of my weight goes right now is water.
Oh yeah, you carry that 3 liter. I carry
almost a gallon of water on me.
I carry a 1.75 liter, and I'm like, you know what? I'd be fine with a 1.5.
Yeah.
But you're gonna have to refill it, and a lot of guys that you go on like AR15.com and for carbine, a lot of guys run the camelbacks with the straps because the way they prepare it is, and shit hits the fan scenario, you might have to refill your own bladder. So if it's strapped to the your load bearing gear,
you gotta doff the load bearing gear in order to do it.
Yeah, well, I mean, my setup is set up for a buddy system. So it's fine being strapped in that case, and you can strap stuff on top of it. Well, not the one I have, but I'll be getting a new one and selling that thing off. But yeah, 1.75 is kind of pushed. You really do feel it. But loaded mags is a consideration. If you're running a gas gun, oh yeah, those things weigh a pound. Yeah, like you're talking even more. Like loaded GI mag, the old aluminum
1 pound 30 rounds. Yep, I remember it very well.
Yeah, the plastic polymer ones shave off a nice bit of weight, especially when you're carrying like 10, 12. It's a couple pounds is shedded, and we're not even talking ounces. We're talking pounds at that point. So that's why guys love polymer mags.
I think by the time I figured it out, my load was easily 40 or 45 pounds, and I wasn't the most heavily loaded person out there.
Yeah, jeez.
But I should have been carrying more than 30, and I'm also not exactly a weak guy either.
You can haul stuff. You call yourself like the pack mule.
Yeah, I don't move fast, but I can haul a bunch of shit, and I can keep going all day.
Yeah, you can't motor. I think that one goat's training day did kick your ass a little bit. That was drill.
It was good, and like I said, I've been kind of out of it for 3 years. So
my issue is my lower back was super sore from doing rows the previous night.
Yeah.
I'm talking like 85-pound rows. Like you bend over and then pull the weight up. And that does work your lower back a little bit, but I accidentally, instead of putting on 75 pounds, I put on 85 pounds. Got through the workout fine, but
just the next day, yeah. I remember what Javier said to you. That was funny. and you looked a little upset. And I'm like, dude, that's pretty normal for a grunt.
It brought up a situation. My issue is I was flashing back to something that happened. I'm not saying this on camera, but let's actually drop it right there because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But I had a sudden flashback, and I'm like, fuck, like That's like that look you saw on my face was me going to something, but yeah, I did get you on camera when you were saying, when he mentioned that I put the flak jacket back on and he gave me the gift card and all that, and you were like, I was complaining about my bag. He's like, well, stop fucking fat chicks. No, what I said was, I could go on more. I got the stamina. It's just my fucking back, man.
Yeah.
Because I was pissed about the back. I wasn't so much whining as was I wanted to do more, but my back hurt.
Was it just a tightness?
It really it just the pain just kept building the whole day. That's why I ditched the plate carrier. That's why I like the quick release one. Okay, here's another thing. Getting back on the real steel and airsoft. I want one I can don quickly in case of you're all alone and all of a sudden like medical or the weight gets to you. That's why another reason why I carry a lot of shit on the belt. What if the plate carrier gets shot and then you're not getting another one? You're not getting another one, just throw it. Well, I'm getting level 3 plates, so they'll be able to take a lot of damage, but the carrier itself can get damaged.
Yep.
And you might have to just ditch it because it's all fucked up. I mean, you could go back to it later. It would go back to it later.
I was over in the desert where a couple of guys actually, for some reason, fell into the water and drowned in their flak jackets.
Oh.
It was the old school Interceptor. They could not get out of their M4. They could not pull their M4 off and get rid of their flak jacket and Kevlar to try and swim to the surface.
That's another thing to consider.
They drowned in the Euphrates.
That's another thing to consider too. I could ditch the flak jacket or the plate carrier, and if I had to, even the belt, which you don't want to ditch your first line. So I need to be careful about what I put on the belt. Can I really carry 5 mags on there? You gotta really think about that. Can I swim with that? And in the case when we were doing CQB training, I threw that fucker off. I know it was Raiders plate carrier. I'm sure he didn't mind hitting the grass. I threw that off, got right back in the fight, and I still I'm borrowing his.
You didn't throw it without hydrochloric acid, did you?
No.
Then I didn't mind.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm also borrowing his Molly belt that he doesn't even like. That's a good belt. It's just too small. Otherwise, I'd buy it off you. But I still had the purse line on. That's another thing with airsoft. You should do the whole 3-line thing. But your first line
is
because I was able to don it.
You need to survive the gunfight. Your second line is
I was literally able to just throw it off and get right back into the drill. Get right back into combat. And
your third line is all the nice stuff like your sleeping bag and your wet weather.
The stuff you will
parka
don
and pants and
the shit you will don as soon as the shooting starts.
Yes,
like a backpack. Drop it. Yes, yeah. Because you're going way over 50 pounds if you're loading up that kind of low bearing gear, like the metal frames and shit. I don't want to mess with that. But another thing to consider, is I'm going to be running more shit, probably more weight on the belt than the plate carrier, probably.
Where's your water gonna go?
On the plate carrier. So it might even out. But even then, if like I said, I'm in a swimming scenario, I might ditch that armor and whatever gear's on there and try to make off with that first line because that first line will keep you alive. If I gotta ditch both, then I get out of the water, might not survive. Might have to go back for it.
Yeah.
Like that. It's like I said, it's preparation for another shit scenario. Not going too crazy because if you're really prepping for another shit scenario. You should have a big backpack. You should have a third line.
That would also work for your style, which is much more mobile, whereas I'm preoccupied with slugging it out.
I move, I hit the deck, and that's another thing too. Do you really want to be real top heavy when you hit the deck? Do you really want a whole bunch of mags in front of you when you hit the deck?
I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it.
I didn't mind a single row either.
It's straight on. I had 2. I had double rows. It didn't bother me any. I just kind of adapted to it.
Well, I kind of do a skateboard fall because that's all of a sudden instincts are triggering from my teenager years when I did inline skating and skateboarding and a lot of biking and always I'll use my elbow pads. I'll put them out and I kill those elbow pads. So, but that's just my style. I need elbow pads for the way I'm gonna play, and I have hit the deck without them. It's kind of
you do everything. You crawl and you do everything, and me
within reason.
I'm just used to practical kneeling, maybe the rice paddy prone, where my butt's kind of on my heels are on the ground, standing, kneeling. That's about it. But so like I said, knee pads. I only wear one.
Here's where we're fairly actually so far we're actually fairly in line. We have two different styles and we recognize that. Magazine manipulation, we are way different. I like the open top shit. I hate the bungee cords. You apparently hate them too because none of your open top ones have the bungee cords on them.
Yeah.
Which was a major retention problem when I was borrowing them. As soon as I jumped down, I'm like, oh, all the mags fell out, all 8 of them.
Yeah, you must have been doing jumping jacks in them.
I jumped.
It
was like a little hop, like when you're jumping over something, they all flew out. Well, I move fast sometimes. Sometimes you gotta move fast. Sometimes you gotta dive. Sometimes you gotta crawl for like 75 yards. I've done that shit. Crawled 75 yards just to get shot.
Yeah.
Just to get shot. That's hardcore airsoft. When you're crawling like the length of a football field just to get taken out by a machine gunner, you know you're doing Milsim right. This shit happens. When you do everything right, and then you get shot.
Then if they did that, you obviously didn't do everything right. But somebody detected you.
Well, we were crawling under fire.
Yeah.
It was either crawl forward or backwards. We chose to crawl forward, and one of the rounds got through the brush and hit me. Yeah. I was the only guy eliminated. So shit happens.
That lucky one.
Shit happens.
That's like I've said, machine gunner. I got a bullet with your name on it. I'm going to keep shooting until I figure out which one it is.
Well, you figured it out, although you did not get the rest of the squad. I was the one that whole magazine was being fired for. There was one in the magazine for me. Nobody else. But yeah, magazine manipulation. I do the open top shit, but I also need high retention.
Yeah.
As I learned very fast, I need high retention. I need something that's going to grip those mags, but let them go when I need them.
Everything works for one part. What works for one person doesn't always work for another.
I don't mind the Velcro tops. The bungee cords bug the shit. I mean, the Velcro tops I can work with. It's just the double stack ones. The way I manipulate mags these days, bullets forward. It gets really annoying that way. When mags back, it's fine.
Yeah, whereas I manipulate them curves forward because I flip it over and then put it in. So
it's just my arm. It just doesn't move that efficiently that way. I mean, we got different shape limbs and everything. Just pull them out. What's interesting though is my pistol mags are bullets back, and I will flip them up in, which is actually the total opposite way the match shooters do. I don't copy anything from match shooters because they're match shooters. Yeah,
they're worried about a time frame. You're worried about living.
Yeah, I'm worried about staying alive. And it's different. I like the molly belts. You do
now. Plate carrier. Are you going for one of the ones with the cummerbund with all the molly here and molly on your underwear? Or
difficult to don.
Yeah, or difficult to doff. You mean
doff? Well, actually, I was thinking about that for a home defense rig, something I could slip on almost like a shirt, and then have my primary already integrated.
Like that one I have, the front and back, that you were wearing in the One Grunt's Opinion video, where all you do is just do one belt. Boop, done.
Yeah, something like that. But for home defense, can I loosen up the cummerbund so I can slip it on almost like a shirt, and then have the primary integrated with a 1-point sling for retention, and then have the pistol on the chest, because if you're going to run reloads and a pistol, you do need a lot of molly. Because with the corners of my house, I need the pistol on the chest would be a better idea.
Yeah, because usually my rig is, and sometimes if I'm expecting to really have to hit the crap, I run a pistol on my chest.
It's a good place to have, especially for the left hand. If someone grabs my primary, they're in my house, they jump me, they grab my primary, got the left hand, pull that out, right in the face. Right in the face. And it's on a single point sling, they're not going to be able to turn against me. That's not going the other way. And that's actually one advantage of a long barrel is you can't really turn it around. Maybe they'll get me on the foot, but extremity shot is most likely not going to kill me. Yeah, very survivable. And the wound they're going to get, they're not going to survive. But yeah, that's another thing. I wouldn't mind. I probably would end up getting a separate chest rig a separate plate carrier for pure defense. And for airsoft, I'm probably gonna, because I can't afford these nice new level 3 plates, I'm probably gonna run simulated plates filled with sand and water and bleach. So just to get used to those 5-pound plates or 3, whatever I end up getting. I really don't want to get those ones that melt at 160 degrees.
Yeah.
Because
it's a lot easier to get to than you think.
Oh yeah, car.
No,
my MOE grip was like somewhat soft when I left it in my truck. I pulled that out. I'm like, wow, this is really flexible all of a sudden. They will do tremendous damage. That's why they tell you not to leave electronics and shit in your car, because it can melt all kinds of shit. Mm-hmm. Cause that's another thing. Like I could be inside a vehicle and all of a sudden my armor melts. Wouldn't that suck if you're riding in a vehicle and your armor melts? Because I have no AC in my truck right now.
Yeah,
and that's a reasonable place to have body armor.
What I was thinking more of was the fact of when I was over, the hottest it got was 137. Add another 20 for the fact that I was in full flak jacket Kevlar. The back of that armor could melt. Yeah,
and you're riding in a vehicle.
Yeah.
Did you have any amenities in that truck?
There was AC, but how often did it work?
That's an amenity, yeah.
How often did it work?
I'm coming from a race car mentality.
In addition, you also have your turret gunner. So...
Oh god, yeah, that generates heat.
Yeah, I mean, all that AC is going out that.
Oh god, yeah.
And then even when you add in, if you are the turret gunner, as I was a few times, if the wind's blowing right, it taking all that hot exhaust and blowing all over you.
And then imagine your fucking plates melting. That would be horrible.
That would suck.
So yeah, the plates I'm looking at right now, I need to contact a distributor. I'm like, dude, can you sell me these? I'm like, please. I'll get, I'll send them my, carry permit and all that stuff. Because usually they want that stuff. Mm-hmm. SDK Tactical will sell armor direct. They want your CCW or what do they call it in PA? LTFC. But yeah, I'm not going with the Air 500 plates because they're great plates and they're fantastic for self-defense because you're not going to run an armor piercing. Chances are a guy might light you up point blank with an AK, mm-hmm. and that will save you. I mean, you might get some extremity damage from the spalling, but it's survivable. So I mean, it's that mentality is going into my loadout, but I do need a lot of magazines. Mm-hmm. And another thing, I was looking at these the ESAC mag pouches with the Kiwi inserts. Mm-hmm. I'm looking into re-indexing my magazine when I do tac reloads. Mm-hmm. But I'll have a dedicated. Okay, these three on my chest. These are for admin reloads. These ones on the belt.
Tactical reload.
Is that what you call a speed reload, a tactical reload?
No, tactical reload would be more like, okay, I've got one in the chamber, but I've used ammunition. I'm pulling the mag out.
I've heard that called administrative reloads as well. Yeah, tac reload. These are my tac reloads on my chest. I got some times. I'm not used to reaching for my chest, but if I'm not in a no shit scenario, like, yeah, I can figure it out and then, re-index the mag. But if I'm like, click, 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 reload, whip them off the belt,
Yeah.
But that's actually going back to my pistol training. A lot of the stuff I do is I'm transferring from self-defense
and
pistol.
Some of it is jargon. I mean, you get all these type of personalities. It's what gets the point across because, well,
you know what?
Sometimes I garble the jargon, but I understand what I'm doing in my head.
Oh, you know what? That conversation where we were getting about the Type A personalities and stuff, that got cut.
No, it did.
And that's where I got really drunk. That's why I don't remember it. Mm. Yeah, that did get cut. So yeah. So don't feel like we're repeating ourselves. We never did get to this story. This is one of the stories. I don't remember the third story. The fourth story, which was this one we're doing now, we didn't get to, and then the third one, I totally forget.
So if anybody runs very similar to him, where they climb around like a monkey and do all kind of crazy shit, feel free to tell him what kind of gear you've opted
I'm already talking to those guys. Talking to the guys at Ravenwood Securities. They actually run a lot of the stuff I was looking to get. Well, a couple of them are recommending the Blue Force Gear 10-speed mags. Mm-hmm. My thing is the whole elastic wearing out. They're disposable. They're very, very affordable, but they're... And I talk... listen to guys going like, the reviews on SDK Tactical, those user reviews, a lot of like real operators... Honestly, when I mean operators, I mean people that operate equipment in dangerous scenarios, not SOCOM and shit. They'll run that shit and they'll tell you that like, oh yeah, the 10-speed mags, they start losing retention. Mm-hmm. That's a problem. He says, oh, when I hit the deck, they start shifting up. That's a concern. Because all of a sudden, what if I go to do it like I run out of belt mags and I'm going on the chest and they're not there?
Yeah.
Even in airsoft, that's gonna suck. Because those might be like, not only $30 mags, they might also be mags you needed right then and there, and now you're going back to the dead zone to get more mags.
Yeah.
And reload, and that's going to suck for you. It's going to suck for your teammates. It's going to suck for the overall game because one guy can, complete an objective and then put your team in head.
Mm-hmm.
Even if he's just doing so much as watching a danger zone, that guy can make a difference. He can call out somebody.
Yeah.
Information can save games. And so loadout, huge consideration, but I don't want to say I'm handicapped because I'm really considering magazine weight and everything, but almost to an extent it is.
Yeah. Because
I gotta really think, where do I want this weight? Also balance.
Mm-hmm.
But in a combat scenario, as you changing mags and shit, balance is gonna shift, and that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, you can always take a little bit out of a protracted one and shift shit around.
Oh, here's a one that you never see on like AR15.com and stuff. Where to put grenades, smoke grenades in particular. You ever look at their rigs on like AR15 or M4 carbine? You never see grenades.
No, because
obviously they can't get it.
Yeah,
but that's
smoke you don't see outside of the.
That's pretty important.
I mean, you do see some of them in the airsoft world, but
I need to.
I think I still have a couple of smoke grenades left in my house. Left somewhere, but I need to find them.
Here's a piece of high-speed gear I want to get their grenade pouches, but I want to run like a mid-thigh, like a real high-profile thigh rig.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, I need to ask the company, like, can this holster, can I draw and clear the grenades?
Mm-hmm.
Probably not, but I don't know.
Well, why not put the grenades up here?
I don't want to hit them when I hit the deck.
You put some on one side, some on the off side. Because if you're gonna be throwing a grenade, you're not gonna be shooting.
Yeah, it's a good point.
It's like the old films from World War II where you see the guy put the grenade through he's got the same hold on his rifle. He's got a finger that's holding his rifle around the pin of the grenade. He pulls the pin, tosses the grenade with his firing hand. You know
where I was thinking of putting them? That might be a good idea. Above the dump pouch, which will run directly to the duty belt.
Mm-hmm.
There might be enough clearance to where I can operate both the dump pouch and the grenades above it.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about putting the sideways 3-stack mag pouch there. That way I can just rip the Velcro. There's 3 mags there, or my buddy can get it.
Yeah. Either way.
But yeah, there's interesting considerations like that, and like my buddy, I do have a buddy that did that. He had the Serpent holster on the thigh, and then he had a grenade pouch on the belt on the right side at the furthest most molly points over the hip. I'm like, that's a pretty good idea, because while you're pulling your gun aside, you could with your left hand pull a grenade out and bring your right hand over and throw the thing. So it's just things like that. It's a little struggling. We haven't gotten anything controversial. I think we have as far as the grenades go, because not a lot of people think about those, because how many people do carry them?
If
you're getting the milsim stuff, it's a good idea.
They do. Whatever would simulate a frag, be it Thunder Bee filled with AEGs or whatever. You don't tend to find.
I would like a tornado, but you have to put them in smoke grenade pouches.
No, the one I have, I put in a flashbang pouch and it works just fine. Blackhawk flashbang pouch.
Oh. Yeah, I do need to get it. What I meant is like things we heavily disagree on, and I'm like, well, I think we both at this point realize we do things very differently.
Yeah.
And we operate differently. I'm used to open top magazine pouches just from handling pistols.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just that mentality is minimize downtime. Someone will kill you. I'm not used to having a teammate to watch me in downtime.
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult. It's difficult to get over, because if you're doing self-defense training, right? If you're doing any kind of pistol things, like drawing a gun, this is something martial artists do. They imagine a threat, and they kind of like try to boost their adrenaline as much as they can. Especially, it's very easy for someone who's used to getting adrenaline to kind of, bring up those feelings. Like, I'm a hardcore gamer, and my hands constantly shake while I'm playing games, so I can bring up those feelings very easily. And that's actually a good way to figure out flaws in your training, in your draw, in the way you're carrying, the way you're putting your magazines. So I'm always imagining a threat while I'm training, and I guess that transfers to airsoft to an extent.
I guess. I don't know.
I don't know yet.
I just know, okay.
Yeah,
most people are like, I'll look over and I'll see the kid I'll look over and see some younger guy and he'll be sitting there fumbling with his magazines. I'm just like, alright, get this done. Over with, gone.
Yeah.
I look over and I'm slow, smooth is fast.
I'm not too crazy, like I don't drop my mags. I always do attack reload even if I'm reloading from the belt, which is probably, counterproductive for actual firearm training. But, I don't run a long gun right now. I mean, I have an SKS, but I don't really run it. That's just a planker. I mean, having actually loaded it under stress, it really sucks. So I want something more. If I'm going to go with a tactical gun, I'm going to get something a little more modern. Something from the, that was originally designed in the 50s, and then they updated it in the 60s, and then they started issuing it to troops. That gun, I might run that. I don't know, it seems kind of archaic. Okay, yeah, I think we gotta wrap this up. I was hoping that would get a little more intriguing, but I think Raiders at this point now, it's like, okay, different background. Different. Yeah. I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing Chris Costa shit for the sake of doing Chris Costa shit, because as soon as I got a really big airsoft gun, I started doing Chris Costa shit because.
But you didn't know who he was.
I didn't know who he was, and it worked. It worked. And if that gun I was shooting had recoil, it would have worked, right? Because that stuff was designed.
It may have. I don't know.
Because those methods were designed for handling recoil in fast shoot and move scenarios.
I mean, it's just my point is, everybody does this. And they keep forgetting my left side. I'm used to, okay, I'm up. I can see left. I can pan left. I can pan right.
But have you seen me run? I usually have my elbow bent when I'm like reaching way out. Here's the thing: if I square off, it's gonna be like that. But if I'm squaring off, there's a threat.
Yeah.
Because I always short stock, like, because I started playing airsoft with a big gun, so. So if I'm squaring off, there's a threat right there. I'm looking right at him, and I might even tunnel at that point. Well, you're not going to tunnel in airsoft, but anyways, if you're squaring off, you're bringing it out.
Tunnel a lot more than you'd think.
In airsoft? You've tunneled in airsoft?
Yeah, I focused on one guy, and one guy came over on the side and got me.
No, I'm talking like high adrenaline vision distortion.
Oh no, I've never gotten.
I'd be like, holy shit, dude, you are into this.
No, it was okay. I'm laying fire down on somebody. I'm thinking somebody's got my flank. Okay, I got this.
Okay, all your attention's diverted. I see what you mean. That kind of tunnel. I'm thinking chemically adrenaline-induced tunnel.
That's what we referred to as tunnel vision. You're taught.
My
keep searching, keep assessing. But I've got one threat already locked in right there.
Yeah, in LEO and self-defense literature, tunneling means the adrenaline-induced one, where like your vision's gonna change and all of a sudden your peripheral vision is gone. That's when someone's trying to kill you, or you was just someone's shooting at you. You watch someone get shot.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of like, okay, I've got a target lock and I'm going to.
Yeah.
It's like
we're getting back to nomenclature.
Yeah, it's kind of like a coyote. If you've ever watched coyotes hunt, once they lock in on something, they don't give up until they've got it.
They're also in packs, too, so they make tactical movements.
But at any rate, I think that about does it for now. Until the next time, I'm Raider.
This is Fox!
We're shooting deuces. Y'all stay safe out there.
See you guys.